Hey Sam, how are you, man?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Have you met Lisa?
Hi, Lisa.
This is Sam.
Nice to meet you, Sam. Yeah.
Sam's one of the guru downwind lords here.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have him. He rides with us, takes off, comes back, and backs back up.
He's got the hand.
Kind of light wind for us.
This is light today. This morning there was no wind pretty much.
Yeah, there's a little bit of white cap.
Yeah.
Biggest setup.
First of all, I want to say aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you, Paddle Imua. One more time, aloha. Aloha. I think you guys should give yourselves a big cheer and a round of applause for registering for this event. It represents what Imua Family Services is all about, which is an organization that helps children, those specifically with special needs, with developmental delays, with certain disabilities and various abilities, in an inclusive environment. And that's what we've recreated here today with this event. This beautiful paddle community is an inclusive, supportive, and harmonious environment that takes place on the ocean today. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
It is Sunday, after all, right? So we are going to invite Sharon, who is going to provide our blessing.
For the visionary and those that get those visions reality. We ask you to be with us today on the water, that we have the best friends ever, that we look out for each other. We always have aloha ke kahi, and respect for one another, and keep the winds at our back and our sails full and our canoes moving forward, careful that we all reach the shores at Kanaha safely. Amama ua. Amen.
Not gonna miss this finish, is that? Right, let's start. Yeah.
We didn't get any mistakes.
Ready to roll?
300 people all up. What a good session.
Fuck yeah. This is the soft start. People just started standing up around me, so I stood up because I didn't want them to have an advantage, and so did everyone else. And then, as you can see here, we're all kind of standing, and then bang, the gun goes off, and had a really good start. Just got up instantly, and I think to my left you can see Tiago, he did as well. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Tiago. Woo!
We literally just pumped up and over non-stop for the whole race. It was a sprint.
I think we could be in the van again. Yeah, it was so fun. Much better than the first time we tried it. A brother from another mother! Then you catch the beach, you're outside, and fucking arguing off. Fucking all. That's not all I started. Well done. Oh, how'd you go? That was a pumping fest. Fell off at the start? Oh no! Yeah. Had a great middle. Yeah. And came down a couple of times on the pitch. How'd you go? Well done. Hey, well done, Lou. There we are, well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Woo!
Well done, Josh.
Thank you.
Goodness, you were Did you hear us yelling at you?
I just heard heaps of people yelling and then I realised everyone was like, go, 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 and I was like, oh, I thought that's the end.
Alright, how'd you go, Josh?
Good. I pumped to the end. I don't think if I didn't have a foil, if I just foil smaller than that, there's no way I would have made it.
Yeah.
I was like pulling out everything I had at the end, eh? Yeah, it's hard.
I can't believe the start. I actually had, is that off?
Nah.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to say something?
No. I had someone literally at the start pull in front of me. Oh no. Because we were so close, we did it, and I was just,
Yeah.
and unfortunately I fell off.
Yeah.
So it's okay if you come down. But I had a great middle.
Yeah.
I caught a lot of people in the middle.
Yeah.
And then I lost it all on the last bit because they all stayed up.
Yeah. See, I was the opposite. I had a great start, middle everyone caught me, and then the end I got everyone because I had a slower foil.
Alright.
But I'm stoked.
Well, look, it's, it's a good race.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, mate.
Yeah.
What do you finish, do you reckon?
I don't know. Honestly don't know. I'm sure like above 10th or something because I've seen a lot of the guys in here before me. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, about 10th, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Army was next to me as well. He had a fall at the start too.
Oh, bugger.
But I was a little bit fatigued from yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did nothing this morning,
Yeah.
but I took it real easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers, bro.
right over to the end.
Yeah, I know.
You got, I took steps off that board and went to run up the sand. I couldn't even move my legs.
Dude, I didn't know that there was a run to the end. Did you see me just get off and I was like, oh, nice.
I was the same and I was like, went to step, went, nope.
Legs that way. Yeah, no, I pulled out everything I had at the end then.
Yeah. Well done, mate. How'd you go, Aiden?
Just behind curve.
Yeah, I was just behind you, dude. It was so funny because I think you went wide, I went inside, and then we switched. I think you were like, I might go wide, and I was like, I'll go inside. And then at the end, I was like, oh fuck, I'm going neck and neck.
Off over that bank is so hard to come through.
Yeah, it was each crisscrossy, hey.
That was that sat my legs so much. But the rest, the flat bit afterwards was like, it was a pump and a grind, but that bit at the start.
What is it with those jet skis? Seriously? I've had a jet ski I was coming in here, and obviously you came in right next to me. I just, unfortunately, you heard him. I think, can you just go away? And he went, oh, okay, you know. Yeah. But just far out on foil. It's hard. When you get the boat went right in front of us at the start, and I was, yeah, boys. I just see you out wide, and I was like, I'm gonna get this guy. And then you had me for a sec.
I know.
Well done. How'd you go? Yeah. What happened? What do you mean?
NOB on that slow.
Oh, because it's too small of a foil?
Yeah. You took it out? But he wasn't registered.
Yeah, I'm not registered.
Yeah, unofficial winner? Fuck yeah, dog.
He's giving me a lot of unofficial place movements going on.
I didn't even see you, Oscar.
Good work, bro.
Were you right up the top, the furthest out or something? I know, I was out there too, but I was like, maybe he's even further.
I just followed these guys, wherever these guys come, just sit there.
Yeah. How'd you go off the takeoff?
Oh, like, you guys were in the distance by the time I even took off. So, like, I'm happy I got some ground.
Good.
I got smashed by a blue bottle.
Yeah, so many people said that. Yeah.
Sitting there pissing on it, just like...
So what, foil too small?
I was just sitting there like wrapped around my leg.
Still in the ocean.
We're gonna go get the view out of the car from my mom. What did you do? Run and roll on the grass or something?
I just came in and collapsed. I was so
We were asshole to the I was like, you're not going to. I wish I was that close to you at all.
What'd you do?
Fuck, you were moving, bro. At the start, you were just going boom.
I was good in the start, but then once we got to like Baldwin, the bumps just shortened up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't keep moving through them at the same speed, and I was burning a lot of energy.
That was the most I've ever pumped on a Maliko. Just felt like I was pumping the whole time.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when we went on the same, and you kind of went right, I went left, and like
I'm an
by like 200 meters in, we were like half a kilometer apart.
Yeah.
And I just knew I went way too far left.
Yeah.
And I kind of came back and was sort of sitting behind, and I was like,
It does that at the start. You have to like keep working right and not fall to the left.
I get sucked into it to keep right.
Yeah. It took me a long time to learn to not get sucked into those.
The bumps are good, but yeah.
I gotta go get stuff out of my car.
Yeah, you started
I know,
fast that crew.
Yeah.
It was like, bing! And everyone was up at full throttle.
That was my best start ever. I literally got to my feet, was like, oh, I felt a bump. I was like,
Mate, the rescue boat came to see me. He was like, you okay? No, I'll make it.
oh, sick.
I started like,
Yeah. Nice.
but I actually had Perth at the start. Where is he?
He said he had a shocker.
Yeah, I had him at the start, and I was like, oh, what's going on?
Nice one, bro. Oh, that was brutal.
So what's the best, on the inside or the outside?
That's a good question.
Outside's definitely faster, but I think for this race, there's no point going that far out because you're just like wasting ground. I reckon.
I cut fucking heaps hard left at the end.
I think the bump's actually faster if you come inside.
That's what I did. I cut left and then I was like, oh, hang on, there's a few residual swells pushing through here. Yeah.
That was fast. If you stayed on those like A-frames that kept going,
yeah,
they were slow.
Yeah.
Like you were just, and you could barely stick with them. They were just moving. And you couldn't jump them. They were too big to jump.
Yeah.
It's like,
dude, I nearly ran out of gas. If it wasn't for the race, I would 100% given up. I was just at the end just going, like my head felt like it was going to explode. That was just like the shittest fucking... It wasn't enough for you to glide. You just had to pump over him.
I got to the green marker and then I had to paddle in.
Yeah, right.
That was hectic.
Official winner?
yeah, official winner.
Epic.
Yeah,
Was it a good race?
such a good race. It's like, where's everyone? I'm like, dude, you're a hammer, you're leading. And he's like, okay. And he's got a bomb, we like both went for it, and he just like
just went for it, a little bit ahead of me and cut me off a little. And he sort of gassed me, took an inside line and then just way inside through here. And then Andrew Gibbon overtook me on the outside. And like, I gotta go in between Edo and Andrew and comes in. I saw the captain Edo, but he took my head. Right. And then I think Kai caught up. I don't know what happened behind me, but I thought the marker was the finish.
Yeah, that's what he stopped too.
I stopped. And everyone's yelling, we keep going. I'm like, we're finished.
Yeah.
And they're like, guys, going. I'm like, run, living on the beaches. I know. Toby was cheering, saying, go, Dad, go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Oh, epic.
Hey, I don't think I was dead last, so that's okay. I took too much time away. I couldn't even read the Maliko. I didn't know where I was going.
I feel like everyone took a very inside line.
I took so far out. So far out.
Oh, you went far out? Yeah. Wow. You probably did more distance then. Maybe.
I went really far inside. I should have went really outside.
Yeah. How'd you go?
Made the turn. I started goofing 3 times outside Maliko. At that point, you just want to get it together.
Yeah.
Then to him, she was the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
That's pretty close. I went through the roof just behind you. Yeah. No, we went down. I went down.
I was slow, and then at the end,
We stayed up the whole way.
Yeah. That's the truth.
almost. Then at the end, I'm not like you guys. Huh? But we don't have your power of legs to turn here. I did
What time?
Daddy power.
Yeah.
Because you enter on the first race, no?
I went like pretty much, there's like the gap and then 2 more waves. I went like in between the 2 waves after the gap. I went like over the reef.
You did it first.
I did.
You did? Yeah. I followed you through. I followed you back through the roof.
Are you either Kai or Andrew? I was too tired to look up.
Looks like a dead imprint.
So then he stopped at the yellow buoy.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I thought everyone's yelling at me, keep going. I'm like, what do you mean? Not running. We'll leave everything and just run up.
Yeah. I forgot to read that fine print.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe. Yeah, Kobe. You had your dad. Have you gone surfing with your daddy yet?
Yeah, a couple of little ones.
Yeah.
Just lay down.
He's like.
Yeah. Of course. We got barrels this morning at Tabari.
Oh, I started.
Was this behind?
Not sure he likes it.
Been doing a lot of runs.
Yeah, did Kalala yesterday with Andrew.
Where?
Kalala, up
nice.
I was 6.
So what was the total run?
It's like 30 Ks, which is like 20 miles. Yeah. It's big.
Yeah, I was haunted yesterday. So,
Big bumps.
Yeah, this morning I also.
First place, 28:03, James Casey.
Where the bloody hell is he?
He's coming. Come on, show it.
There he is.
Alright, subfoil women. Third place, 44:18, Devin Blish. Second place, 36:05, Annie Reichert. And first place, time 34:25, Olivia Fiana.
Get in there, all of you. Can you get in there?
One more thing.
Come on, smile. Yeah.
Time of 23:26, Alan Cadiz. Second place, 23:17, John McCabe.
Well done. All right, Jimmy, give us a recap.
Paddle Imua. It was, I think the last Maliko race I did was a very different race. I got a really good start again, same as Maui to Molokai. And
Tell us about the start line. What?
yeah,
what
we
was
all
it
paddled
like?
out for ages. Everyone was like so on edge because of last weekend. So everyone was paddling out a long way, and I was kind of.
You did the pump out?
Yeah, I just did a little warm up. I little flex.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted, like, I used a different foil. I used a different foil yesterday, so I was pretty keen to just dial it in just with a little paddle up, and it was, yeah, it felt good. So got a little bit further out, and I sat a little bit further out than everyone else, but I still wanted to have an inside line. So I just sort of got up on the Matt Nonch, actually just in front of me. He got up just before me. He was on the bump in front, I was on the bump behind. Got up, and my plan was to kind of run an inside line just because of shortest distance, and it wasn't that windy. And I got a few really nice sort of ground swells, sort of pushing in past Two Keeper and Paia. Used a slightly bigger foil, the 770, and basically same as what I used from out of Maliko, but because it was lighter, wasn't necessarily the fastest foil I've got. But
what were the conditions?
yeah, it was, for Maui it was light, for anywhere else you'd be frothing. But the problem with racing in those conditions is that the bumps weren't moving that fast. Heaps of bumps, but everyone was going up and over bumps. So it was serious. Like my heart rate was right up in the red like the whole time.
When you took off, what was in your peripherals? Like who was next to you, who was in front? Who was
yeah, so Matt Nottage was right in front of me, and then I sort of cut in left, and I think it was Kai was up there first, and Edo. So it was us three sort of at the start. And I sort of got a good swell and sort of cut in, got my speed up, and sort of had my foils like humming from the get-go, which was nice. And kind of kept going in, sort of went past Kai and got a good bump past him, and then Edo and I had a bit of a moment sort of off Paia sort of bouldering area, and he's like, "Where is everyone?" I'm like, "Dude, you're winning."
Did everyone, those front runners, take the same line?
So Edo and I were pretty much same line. Kai, I'm pretty sure was the same line as what I was, and then Andrew Gibbon sort of had a bit of a worse start, and he was sort of forced to go wide, and he got off camp one. He just bombed in towards me, and he was actually ahead of me when we were running the reefs off Kanaha. Edo took like an inside line, and he got the win, but he didn't register for the race, so it's sort of like a weird one. And then Andrew Gibbon was in front of me, but because I was further in, I had the advantage. I was close to the finish line, so I sort of cut uppers, and then they call it the weird wave or devils. I sort of was milking the swells in through there and just trying to save my legs in case it came to a bit of a sprint. I reeled Edo in a little bit in that flat bit, but he was so far ahead I was never going to catch him fully.
What's that finish like?
Yeah, flat. So once you go inside the reef, all the swell's gone, and you've got like these underlying swells that they're really hard to read. And so you can kind of milk something, but you're going up and over a lot of them. So it's lots of pumping. So it was decent sort of swell at the start if you could find it, but sort of not the strongest wind. It was 15 to 18 knots probably. So for Maui standards it was light, for anywhere else you'd be cheering. And then that first sort of third there was good bumps. The middle third there was a little bit of funky shorter period swells that just wouldn't allow you to go too fast. And then the last bit was the reefs and the cut inside. I've had a few runs where I've had a really good bump off camp one and just sort of run a really good kilometre, but I didn't really find a good set. And then yeah, the line at the end was really important because some people sort of cut in earlier, Edo, and then Andrew Gibbon was further outside me, and he sort of stayed out wider for longer before he pumped in, and I cut the middle line, and because I cut inside at less distance, I got Andrew to the finish. Kai must have been on my line because he was right behind Andrew, and then I think Oscar was just behind Kai. So it was a pretty cool race.
Was it pretty much just a pump to the finish, like for a kilometre?
Big time. Like it was a kilometre, maybe kilometre and a half pump.
Wow.
But there's wind at your back, and there was swells mostly helping, but it's just like no assistance because the foils were using it faster than them. If you bolted on like a Maliko 280, you'd be loving it. You'd be surfing in there. But because we're all on sort of race foils, everyone was moving faster than the bumps were, so that part wasn't fun. So I was picking a foil that worked for everything. And so I think I kind of nailed it with the 770. Good at the start, held ground, maybe lost a little bit in the middle, but then didn't, just sort of held everyone off at the end. So it was a cool race. And
but there was a buoy at the end that what you thought was the finish?
So the buoy at the end was in the email they sent out, so you had to go inside it, and there was no mention of a beach run. At the briefing, they said you got to go inside it, and there was no mention of a beach run. We get to the finish, it's yellow, not orange. We have to go around the outside of it, so to the right of it, not to the left of it, and there's a beach finish. So I finished, and because Edo hadn't registered, he sort of finished and just sort of moseyed on into the beach. And I finished and everyone's yelling, go, go, go. And I didn't realise that Edo hadn't registered because they sold out. That's why he couldn't register. He flew over and was going to register on the day, but they sold out on because it was just such a popular race. And yeah, it was just like everyone's yelling, going like, what do you mean? And they say, someone's coming. I'm like, okay, we'll go. And I thought, well, maybe they thought they wanted me to beat Edo, but he didn't register, so I sort of ran up and I got the win. But for me, it was cool. Like, it was a really good race. Edo crushed it. He's one to watch for Molokai for sure. Andrew Gibbon and I had a really good battle towards the end. Kai and Jeffrey and I had a really good... Actually, I think Jeffrey was 5th. Kai and Jeffrey, Spencer and I had a couple bumps in the middle. And yeah, that pump in the end was kind of good practice for Molokai because there were 3 clear sections. There wasn't really any massive bumps, which I would have loved to test my 770 in, but I know it's got pretty good top end. Hey, one more minute. Got food in there. Yeah, so the top end's kind of there. I'm really happy with my foil choice. Kobe's not. But there definitely seems to be a bit of a like a top 5 group, maybe even top 6 group sort of forming. And Jeffrey and Oscar had a much better race this weekend than M2M, but Edo, Andrew, Kai, and myself seem to be pretty close.
You're all up there.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool to see that I'm up there and that I sort of put it together today. And yeah, excited for next weekend for sure. That's a big one. But I was cooked. I was so tired at the end. I really hope M2O don't feel like that because I was...
Yeah, you had a little bit of a wobbly when you were in. You were like, you were like, I actually feel fucked right now.
Yeah, I was really tired. Like my body was just, like I was cold. I'd fully cooked myself.
Oh, I hope you haven't got sick.
Yeah, it was, I feel fine now. I think it was just my body was just in recovery mode.
Yeah.
So I was like, it was a sprint. I was explaining it to my wife and she was like, how's it how's it going to be for Maliko then? I'm like, well, Maliko, I hope I'm not working that hard the whole way. It was only a 10k race, you know, so it was 28 minutes. It was a sprint, literally. And the run up the beach was horrible. Like, that just tipped me over the edge, it felt like, because the full, like, when I finished, everyone was yelling, go, 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 like, fight off flight mode. Like, I don't remember what it was. It was just like, everything's a blur then. I'm just like running on the beach. But yeah, I feel much better now, but I was heart rate and I was nervous before this race too. I just like had a bit of like the runs this morning and was a bit heavy and achy. I didn't know which foil to use and I messed myself up mentally in the head, so I got to fix that up for next weekend. And but yeah, it was a fun one. Stoked to get the win in asterisks because Edo beat me, but it was cool to see the top 4 guys all on the group and stoked to see everyone do really well. Also cool debriefing with Edo after. He's like, because I coach him for the Coach Casey Club. So I was saying like, mate, you're crushing it. He's like, and I must be the coaching, huh? So it was cool. He was doing really well, and yeah, it's going to be a good weekend next weekend.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cheers.